All right, well, let's go ahead and get the party started. Good morning, everybody. Again, Mike Anderson here with American Independent Marketing. I'm joined this morning by Aaron Cassover and Travis McQueen from our Connected Agent team. We are recording, but we're going to try something a little bit different here. And we've got everybody pretty much unmuted. The exceptions there, Michael Burns and John Knight. We were not able to unmute you by virtue of the fact that you had not engaged your audio control. So if you can do that, we can unmute you. At the same time, I'm going to ask you to be courteous. Turn the ringer volume down on cell phones if you're not utilizing those here. Avoid typing on keyboards, etc., so that we don't have to go back to a command mute structure and mute everybody. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Aaron, and we'll see what happens. Aaron, go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. So good morning, everybody. This is an exciting day here in October to get you all together and talk about some ways we can use our Connected Agent websites to sell some insurance, which is what we all want to do. So today we're going to do a couple things. We're going to talk really specifically about sharing content on social media, and even more specifically, sharing content on my favorite social media network, which is LinkedIn. And you'll probably hear me talk about LinkedIn a lot in these get-togethers. We're going to talk about ways you can share your blog content. And as you know, we have this autopilot blog that we are posting content to twice a month. You've got 5 articles from us on there right now, and you're going to get more twice a month. And you can also even write your own if you want to. We're going to talk about ways you can leverage the Surviving Critical Illness Financially Guide, which is a download page, a landing page on your site. You can leverage that on LinkedIn to get some leads, which is a nice thing, leads for critical illness and leads for critical care. And then finally, I'm going to talk about a way you can use a thing on LinkedIn called a sponsored update, which allows you to extend beyond your network to reach out to people who you don't know and show your content and generate leads that way. And it's a really cost-effective way to do this. It's really cool. It's a great way to go and get some new customers. So before we get kind of into the details, let's just talk about why social networks and social media is so important. And it's sort of like the old days of network marketing, where if you have something you tell 10 people, and if 2 of them then go and tell 10 of their friends, and then 2 of those people go and tell 10 of their friends, pretty soon you've covered a lot of people. And it's the same thing with social networks, where if you can share something on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter to your audience of your connections, maybe you have 50 friends on Facebook and 100 connections on LinkedIn. If just a small fraction of those people do the same thing, if they then share out what you send to their network, you'll be able to reach a lot of people very quickly. And so this is a great way to kind of get an echo effect or to amplify your message. Now you need to have good content. Content is sort of the fuel for this fire, where you have to be able to share things that are interesting. And that's why we're doing things like providing these landing pages and your blogs, so that you have good stuff to go out on a regular basis and just share it out to your network. And also, it's important just to notice that not everything is going to take off like wildfire. Some things will kind of just be interesting to a few people and then won't really expand. Other things will be the ones they will share and reshare and reshare. And so you don't need to do it every time. If you do this just a couple times a year, where you really start to hit kind of an echo effect, you'll really see a big boost in volume and productivity. So that's why social media is so important. Now, on your blog, we've made it really easy to share. And we made it really easy for you to share your blog and also your visitors to share your blog. We've done that by putting these sharing icons on the top of every blog post. And so, for example, there's what to consider when looking at long-term care insurance posts. You can see there's a Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and then also just send via email. And if somebody clicks on any of those buttons, it just shares that content. Now, what's cool is that you can do the exact same thing. It's your blog. You can go to these posts, and you can just click through Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, one at a time, and you can share this out to your network. Now, I'll show you what happens if you clicked on the LinkedIn button. You're going to then see this sharing screen pop up. And it's going to show you the title of the page and the description of the page, and then some controls as to who you can share it to. And so what you'll do is go through this. You're going to first want to edit the title and description, because it's not always going to be quite what you want. You might want to make it a little more kind of pointed or engaging. You might want to make it a little more relevant to your market than just what it picks up on. So you can click on this edit button to change those things. So I might want to get rid of sale insurance partners, for example, and just have what to consider when looking at long-term care. And then maybe I could make the description say something like, read this important article in my blog about considering long-term care options. Just something that's a little more engaging than default. You can also put a little note above it if you want to kind of add some more details. And you can decide who it goes to, if it goes to just public or just your contacts. And then you can also extend beyond your own network. So you can share it to groups. So if you belong to any groups, maybe there's a local sort of business group in your city or your community. Maybe there are professional groups or referral trading groups that you belong to. You can post to those groups. Those members will see your update. And then you can also specifically send it to individuals you know. So if you have maybe a prospect that you've been talking to about a topic and you have a blog post you want to share with them, you can actually go into LinkedIn or go to your blog, click on the LinkedIn share, and then send it straight to them, which is kind of nice because when you get something straight sent to you, you will look at it. And then when you're ready, click on share. Now, one thing to think about is that people don't do what you want them to do unless you remind them or ask them. And so if you want people to read this article, but then also share it, I really recommend that you actually say that in your description here. So, not just say, here's a good article, but then say, if you find this valuable, please reshare to your contacts. Just simply say that. That will get people thinking about sharing. Or you can say, help spread the message by sharing. If you remind people to share, they will do it. If you don't remind them, you won't. So that's a great way to kind of pick up that network effect. So let's go jump over to a website, and let's just do this. We can see it live on one of our sites. So I'm here. This is Gene Newland's site. He has a great picture of Mount Rainier on a beautiful, maybe a beautiful fall day like today. Actually, probably not, because it's not. The colors haven't started to change yet, but great picture. Local market, lets people know where he sells. So we'll go into his blog. Just click on blog here. And we'll pick just this most recent post, what to consider when looking at long-term care. And here are those icons I was talking about. So I'm going to go into the LinkedIn. You can hover over the different options. And I'll click on the LinkedIn, and it's going to open up a sharing box here. And now it lets me, just like I showed you, lets me go in here and edit the content. So if I wanted to, I just click on Edit, and maybe I'll start by getting rid of, the name, just what to consider. And then I can change this script here and say maybe it's important information about long-term care options. Please read and reshare if you find this useful. Thanks. So I can now preview and see what this looks like. You can see that it changed the description. And I can then share as public. And when I'm ready, I'll just click on the share button. And that's going to put this right on Gene's LinkedIn page, but it will then also send the update out to all of his LinkedIn contacts. And so he's just taken his blog and just in a couple clicks promoted it out to all of his contacts on LinkedIn, which is really, really kind of cool. So make sure that you do that. Every time we post one of these blog posts, we'll do a job of letting you know that they're live. And just take a minute to go in and go through these 4 different sharing buttons, the ones you have accounts on, and just go ahead and share them yourself. Okay, back to the presentation. So that works for the blog, but what about other pages on your site that don't have those sharing buttons? So for example, we have the campaign pages that we're creating, and there's the Surviving Critical Illness Financially campaign that you'll probably want to share. That's a good way to generate leads. And so these pages don't have the button, and so you have to do it a little bit differently. What you have to do instead is you have to copy and paste the URL. And a URL, just to refresh your memory, is that long string of text at the very top of the browser window here in the red box that begins with www.yourdomainname.com and then has the path to this page. So you can see it's /critical-illness/get the free guide Surviving Critical Illness Financially. That's the URL of this page. And so what you'll do is you'll go into your browser, you'll browse to the page you want to share, and then you will copy this URL. And you'll take it over to LinkedIn, and you will paste it into the status box that shows the top of your LinkedIn page when you log in here. And so you paste this URL in, and then LinkedIn is pretty fancy. What they do is they just see that URL come into the box. They then go to the page, and they grab a thumbnail image, and they grab the description, the title, and they go ahead and create this little preview of text that you can edit. And then when you're ready, you can, again, decide who you share it to. You can share it just to yourself or to your contacts or to public or to a group. You click on Share. So let's go and do this. I'll show you how this works. So I'm back on Gene's site. I'm just going to navigate back to the home page and then go to the critical illness section and then down to the Get the Free Guide Surviving Critical Illness Financially. Click on that page, and here's that landing page, which, as you remember, this is a great way people can come in and fill out this form, and they get this free guide, which is a guide that we've created for you to offer out. It's a good educational piece about critical illness, and it's really nice to give away because it generates leads for you. So I'm going to go up here, like in our instructions. This is the URL. I'm going to select the entire URL, and in my case, I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to say Copy, to copy this. And I'm going to go over to LinkedIn. I'm logged in here as Gene. He was nice enough to be our guinea pig in the demo. I'm just going to go into Share an Update. Again, I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to say Paste. And that's going to paste that URL in there. And you can see that right away LinkedIn did this little magic where they got the thumbnail of the book cover. They got the title and description. And so now I can go in here and edit this. And I'll probably want to change this not to say Gene Newland Insurance, but to say Get the Free Guide Surviving Critical Illness Financially. And I can also go in and change the text here. And maybe I'll say I've prepared, let's see, I've prepared this free guide to educate you on how you can protect your finances from the costs of critical illnesses such as cancer, heart attack, and more. Please take a moment to download the guide and share with your friends and contacts. Okay. So now you can see I've changed this. I'll just go ahead and click on Share. And now this is going to make this guide available to all of Gene's contacts on LinkedIn. And so what's going to happen is they're going to get notifications when they're logged into LinkedIn, or they'll also get email notifications from LinkedIn about this guide. And they're going to see that there's this free guide they can download. They're going to go and land on this page, fill out the form. They get the guide, and then Gene gets notified that one of his contacts or one of his friends of friends has downloaded the guide, and he can then follow up with them, talk to them about the guide, talk to them about developing a plan to pay for the cost of critical illness, and of course that will lead into a potential sale. So this is a great way to go out and get capture some leads from your network. But you can do even more. So let's go back to the presentation and talk about ways you can extend your reach beyond your network. So when you share this, like I've shown you, that goes to your LinkedIn contacts. And if they reshare, it goes to their LinkedIn contacts. But what if you want to go beyond people you know and find new relationships, new prospects? Of course you do. And so LinkedIn has a tool called a sponsored update. And what sponsored updates allow you to do is pay in what they call a pay-per-click model, where you pay whenever somebody clicks on your update to have your update shown to people outside of your network. And so you actually go into LinkedIn and set up an update to be shown as a sponsored update to their entire community. Now you can target it. Of course, you don't want to show the entire nation because most people aren't going to be good prospects for you. So you can narrow down to location. You can do a state or several states. You can do a city or a metropolitan region. You can specify the business size of where they work. So if you want to target maybe small business owners, or if you want to target doctors, or if you have a specific market you're going after, you can really zero in on that market because you can search by role, seniority, and lots more. You can also target by group. So if they're members of a specific LinkedIn group, you can target by gender. You can also target by age range. So maybe you're looking at people who are over 55, who are fairly senior in their careers and are located in the same city as you, but maybe that's a good prospect. And then you sponsor this update, and you make a bid of what you'll pay per click. And in my experience, this is generally costs a couple dollars. Maybe it's $2 or $3 per click. And that might seem like a lot, but it's actually really a pretty good deal because somebody who goes and clicks on this and fills out that form to get the guide has become a pretty good lead for you. They've seen your site, they have gotten the guide, so you know that they're interested in the topic, and they're not a shared lead. They're not given to other agents. This is just yours to go and sell. So if you can get a lead for $2 or $3 that you know is interested in critical illness, you know they've had some education and they've taken action to learn more, and it's exclusive to you, that's a pretty great value. So sponsored updates. I'm not going to go through how to do them here because it's just sort of a long process. You select the market, you do the filtering of what kind of person you're targeting, you choose the update from your updates, and then you go and make your bid. But if you get into this and if you have any questions, let us know. We'll help you get this going. There is one catch, which is that sponsored updates, you must have a company page as opposed to an individual page. You can create a company page for free, and all you need to do is just go and set it up and then say that you work for that company, and you can now post updates to that company. That's the way LinkedIn does the updates, is through company pages. So that's what I wanted to show you in terms of using social media to share your website content. I really recommend spending some time today, maybe tomorrow, to go through and share your blog posts, share them on all the social media networks that you're part of, and also go and extend your network. So get more contacts. As you talk to people, make sure you reach out to them on social media so that you become connected with them, your prospects, your referral sources, your customers, your friends, your family, your neighbors, because the bigger your group, the more reach you have to get your message out to them. And then they, of course, can then spread the message for you. So with that, let's just open up the floor questions. I'd be happy to take questions about this topic specifically, or really anything that is sort of on your mind this morning, hopefully website related, but I'll go for anything.
Aaron, we did get a question about, if you'll take a second and kind of circle back to setting up the links to the social media sites within an individual agent site. If you could kind of give us a refresher on that.
Yeah, is that specific to the blog or to the content outside of the blog?
I think look at it on the blog. It'll work with all the different applications, right? If you just take that particular one, because they didn't give me a specific. They just asked about how to set them up on the site, and I figure if you're doing it for the blog, it's going to work that way for the other things as well.
Gotcha. Okay, so these buttons right here, they just appear on all of your sites. So even if you aren't on Facebook or Twitter or Google Plus or LinkedIn, we still show the sharing buttons. because these are shown to your visitors to click on. And so as long as they have an account, they can share. Now, they're just there. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing you need to set up. They're just there to work. We also do show in the footer of your site, I'm not sure if Gene is active here, but we do show an option to have your LinkedIn pages appear and your Facebook pages and that sort of thing on the bottom of your site. And you do that by logging into your site control panel. Okay, let me just do that. You log into your site's control panel, and you go to Manage Your Site and then Personalize Site. On the very bottom of this page, you'll see that you can just paste in your Facebook page, your Twitter ID, and your LinkedIn URL. And what that does is it puts the icons for those networks on the bottom of your site. So here on my site, you'll see I have the LinkedIn logo that shows up. So those are two different things. One is the sharing buttons on your blog, and the other is the links to your profile in your page footer. I hope that was the question. If not, let me know and I'll clarify.
I think that does it. Okay, Ron Lewis, I know you had a question out there. Go ahead and unmute yourself, hit *6 again, and fire away. And anybody else with questions, jump right in. We can hear you. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay. I'm sometimes not sure whether, how to draw the line between spamming people with, sending too much of these kinds of information, or if some people request not to get it. Is there a way to, would you just send it out to the individuals in your group if you wanted to do it that way versus clicking everyone? Or how do you, I guess I'm pretty new at it, so how do you kind of know whether you're doing too much, or how often should you be doing these kinds of updates and things on LinkedIn and so forth?
That's a great question, and I appreciate you bringing it up, because there is a very fine line between kind of pushing your own agenda, and I talk about something I call the 3-2-1 approach of social media, where you want to balance how many times you talk about your products, which is kind of the 1, with 2 times talking about the reason why your clients would need it. So probably in this case it would be like their finances, or maybe protecting their family, and then 3 times with interests that they share. So it might be if you're targeting maybe it's Medicare, people in their 60s, fun things to do with your grandkids, or those sorts of good summer trips, great road trips in your region. And I know it's kind of getting off topic when you go that far, but if you stay in line with what your customers have in common, you'll make sure you always are sharing things that are interesting to them without being so focused on your agenda. So for every 1 time you talk about a product that you offer, 2 times about kind of the greater reason behind the product, and then 3 times what interests your network has in common. I think if you stick to that kind of framework, it will make sure you kind of aren't just pushing your own agenda, but also really being in line with your contacts on social media. Lauren, does that help you at all?
Yeah. Is there a way to, if I'm working more with people over 65 and I have a wide, if there's something I want to focus more for people over 65, would I just select the individual option and then enter them individually, or select them individually to get the blogs?
Yeah, you definitely can filter down to individuals. So if you know specific people that are interested in something, you can go that level. There isn't a way to just sort of break down your groups categorically, people over 65 versus people under 65. So you'll want to just be specific about the individuals and list them all and share that way.
What about using email lists that where you've created contact groups, such as people that I sell Medicare supplements to versus the people I sell long-term care insurance to? Can then you email out to that group
yeah, and
on like a blind CC, so that you're...
Absolutely. That's a great way to go as well, is to keep a list of your contacts' emails and then group them by things like their age, the products they've bought from you, the products that they're interested in, so that you can segment out when you email that way. And maybe I'll do, in a future month, I'll do a talk about email marketing, because there's some great free tools to help you do that.
All right, now we had a question from Mary Justice out there. So, Mary, go ahead.
Oh, hi. Yeah. Just wondering, and I thank you for the explanation on the critical illness and how to put it on LinkedIn. So that's got me thinking about other things on LinkedIn that I can post there, and I'm really new to this. So I'm wondering about videos that I sometimes in an email will send a link to an interested client. I'm wondering if I can do that through LinkedIn.
Let me ask you, are those videos on YouTube, or where do those videos live?
Okay, so there is one on YouTube, and then there's a couple long-term care videos that are on Genworth.
Mm-hmm. If you have the URL to the page where the video lives, you can absolutely share that on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And that's a great way. Even if it's not your content or your site, if you're sharing information that's going to be educational to your network, I recommend to go ahead and do it, because that's going to reinforce the fact that you're the person they trust to get information to them, even when it's not on your own site.
And does
I follow. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Well, just an add-on to that. Also, PDFs, brochures, etc. I mean, is this something that you can post once in a while? Oh, here's our new brochure on da-da-da, or a Kiplinger article that's come out or something. Is this are all these things you can do on LinkedIn in the way that you showed us for the critical illness brochure?
You can attach a file to LinkedIn. So if you had a PDF, you can actually just upload it. So if you go to the update, you'll see this little paperclip. So if you have like a PDF brochure, you can share them here. I would just make sure that what you're sharing is going to be kind of relevant interest to the person that you're talking to.
Right.
A product brochure might be a little too sales focused as opposed to educational focused.
Okay.
So just keep in mind, what you're sharing. You want to make sure that you're adding value to the recipient, and that you're not just kind of giving them things that they might not want to see.
Right. Okay. Good. Thanks.
Bonnie Bell, I know you're out there with a question.
Hi, Bonnie.
Yeah. So when you're sharing something, it sounds like you would just be doing it directly from your public website instead of in the control panel where you can make changes.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to confirm that. Yeah, so you're just doing it for your website. You're not messing around with the control panel at all on that.
Nope. I'm here on Gene's site. I'm not logged into Gene's site at all. And so I'm just on the public site that, just browse.
Yeah, you're on the public site, and so you're just doing the sharing straight from there.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
All right, good question. Anybody else out there with questions? Ron, I know you got another one. Fire away.
Okay. So say you post a blog, or you add, like on your example of the critical care page for that document, and then suppose you want to remove that. How do you go about removing something once you've sent it out?
You can, so here we are on Gene's page, and I can just go in here, and if I hover over the update, there's a delete. And if I click on that, it's just going to let me delete the update.
Okay, so you can do that at any future after you've...
yeah, you can, and I don't think there's a time limit on that. You can go in a month later and remove it if you want to.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, good. Any other questions out there? I know there's got to be plenty.
I have one more if nobody else does.
Well, fire away.
Fire away.
You may have addressed this. I was writing some notes, and you may have addressed this when I wasn't fully listening. But with the other icons like Facebook and things, so if we don't have accounts for other things, we don't do anything with those, or just we don't have to create these other accounts.
Yeah, so
I have a link.
These icons right here are shown no matter what, and you don't have to have an account to have these icons work, because it's for your site visitor. So as long as they have an account with any of these, they can share your content. And you might be surprised at some point that people are going to come to your blog and just click on this. And they might just share to their Facebook contacts because they think it's useful or interesting.
I see.
So in the footer of your website, there are some opportunities to have links to your social media profiles. So if we look at my demo site, I've got follow us. I've got a link to my LinkedIn profile here.
Right.
And those are set up. If you log into your site, go to Manage Site and Site Settings. I'm sorry, not Site Settings. Manage Your Site, Personalize. You'll see that there are these 3 fields for Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And when you enter information in here, that's what causes those icons to show up in your page's footer.
Okay.
So how did you get Google Plus on there? Because that's also, I'm seeing those, I see 4 at the bottom, but you only have the spaces for 3.
Right. So we only show the main 3 on the bottom of your site here.
No, you were showing that, I guess it was on Gene's site, the Google, I guess it was the G+.
Yep.
Go
So
down
on
to
the
the
top,
bottom.
right here on the top of the page, we show 4 sharing options. In your footer, we only have 3.
Oh.
So those are separate.
Okay. How did you get... I don't know how you got... I don't know where you... How did... What is that? What is that? Is that on the top of your long-term care page?
So right now, we are looking at the blog.
Oh, you're looking at the blog.
Yeah, so if you go to the blog articles, this is where we show the sharing icons.
Oh. Okay. And so you have that at the top and the bottom.
We have these just at the top. The sharing icons are just.
Mine is different than that, so that's where I need to know how did you get those on the top?
Tell me what your site is. We can take a look at it.
BelleAndersonFinancial.com.
Bell Anderson.
And no. Get rid of that E after the L.
There we go. Okay, so if we go to your blog and look at one of the articles, you have the same.
Oh, it's there.
Yep.
Okay,
in your footer, you have the 3 links to your 3 profiles right here.
I was thinking that you're talking about that at the top where it's underneath where it says our blog.
Yeah, they show up right here in the top of the page. So.
Okay.
Look, you're good to go.
Okay.
Tom Magnus, you had a question.
Yes, I would like to have the ability to share the NAIC Shopper's Guide for long-term care insurance in the same manner that we do the critical illness. Have a page where people can enter their email, their contact information in return for the guide.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do that?
You can. You can. And we don't have a page set up for that, so you'll need to create it yourself.
Okay.
So probably the best thing to do is give us a call, and we'll help you get it up and running. It won't take too long to do.
All right.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Ron Lewis is back with a question. Ron, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't have a Facebook account. I've thought about it, and I guess I was just curious what opinion is how beneficial it really is to have if I already have a LinkedIn account, if it really makes a difference to have a Facebook account.
It's
for
different
business.
markets. Yeah, I sort of divide it up and I say that Facebook is your friends and family, Twitter is like the cocktail party, and LinkedIn is the workplace.
Right.
So I would make LinkedIn the highest priority, kind of most important social network. You'll see that all of the examples I've been using today and elsewhere are with LinkedIn, just because it's really where you can go to do business. It doesn't mean you can't also get some results from the other social networks. And so I'm not saying avoid them, but I think LinkedIn is where you start.
Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Now, Diane, you had a question that kind of dovetailed with that. Was what they just talked about, did that handle your question? I guess yours is more about Google Plus versus Facebook and LinkedIn.
I understand the difference between Facebook and LinkedIn fairly well, but what is Google Plus about? Because that's sort of a new platform.
Yeah, it is sort of a new platform, and if you use Google, you have a Google Plus profile, whether you really know it or not. So if you have a Gmail account or any kind of login to Google Docs or anything else, it does create a Google Plus account for you. And a lot of people that have Google Plus accounts don't even use them or know about it. And so it's not something I am pushing initially, but it's going to become more and more important as it gains momentum. One of the things that Google is doing with Google Plus is they're using it as a way to get data on what pages they should show up in search results. And we're not talking about 1 or 2 Google Plus shares, but we're talking about 100 or 200 Google Plus shares. And so if you have a very large, very active website with lots of people on Google Plus that you can get to share and like a page via Google Plus, it can give you some benefit in search engine rankings. But we're talking about a sort of a scale that I think probably most of us aren't operating at right now. So it's something, we don't want to ignore it, but it's kind of still building momentum as a network.
So it's important to manage what your profile looks like on Google Plus, though, because if it's just linked to a Gmail account, like for me, I use that as my general business account because it's easy to pass on to people, where my, dedicated site is a little more complex to rattle off to people.
Yeah, you can go into Google Plus, and this is sort of a different topic now, but you can what they call claim your business profile. Okay. Where you can go to Google Plus and you just search for claim your use that phrase, claim your Google Plus business profile. They'll share the link, and what you do is you actually verify that you own the website. They verify your address and contact information, and then you can list off information about your business. You can list off the products that you offer. You can link to other social networks and kind of expand your profile that way.
Okay.
And we're starting to recommend people do that, so you'll hear us talk about it more, just because when you do show up in Google search, if you have a Google Plus profile, they will show that on the page, which really helps you get more traffic to your site once it's kind of up and going.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Great. Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. John, I know you had a question with regard to some of this LinkedIn, business, personal, et cetera. Why don't you go ahead with that?
Yeah, I guess my question was, I have a personal LinkedIn account. Should I have a business LinkedIn account, or is there some way to just change my personal LinkedIn account, just change the name to the, a business account name?
They're separate things, and so you'll actually need to go in and create a different account or a different setting for your business account. And it doesn't cost anything, and it just takes a couple minutes. But you can't merge a personal account into a business account because LinkedIn views them as separate entities, where a person is a real person, and the business might have several people working for it. So they structure them differently.
Okay. So you're really starting from scratch in terms of building up your network.
You are with your business account. you're starting from scratch, building up your network. With your personal account, what you can do is send a message out to everybody and ask them to follow your business account, but they have to opt in. It's funny, if you look at AIM's business account on LinkedIn, we just started really working on it at the beginning of this year, and we're growing steadily, but we have nowhere near the number of contacts that we do just individually with people that we work with.
Do you recommend then that we just, should we try to start one from scratch or just use our personal one?
If you want to do sponsored updates, which is the way to pay to show your updates to new people, you have to use a business account to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's something that you think could be valuable, I would go ahead and create a business account. If you don't see yourself doing that, then your personal account is really fine.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Any other questions out there? This is all good stuff, folks. And one thing to keep in mind, just as a general note, we've talked about this a little bit here and there, as we're starting to get ready to unveil some of these campaigns. To make these campaigns go, you've got to have email addresses of your clients. So if you don't have them, you want to be thinking about what you can do to get them. Every single time you have a client contact, make sure you're getting that email from them as you're moving along. That'll get you farther down that pathway, because these campaigns are very difficult to execute without that. So that said, other questions?
Should we store those email accounts to make the best use of them?
Excel file.
Okay.
Yeah, I would start with Excel, and I will do a talk about email pretty soon, just because it seems like it's of interest. And I would start with Excel, because you can always import that into any service that you use. And we can get fancier from there.
Okay, good stuff. But remember, you want to start accumulating those as quickly as you can. So, all right, any other questions here this morning? Well, looks like somebody just popped one in. Hang on here for a second here. Okay. Suggestion for the next seminar: email marketing campaigns and email contact management. We will pencil that in as one of the components. And in the meantime, keep gathering them up. You can put them in a Word doc. It doesn't matter. The management part is not anywhere near as important as having them. If you got 300, you're well on your way. If you've got 6, we've got some work to do. And what we want to do is get you from 6 to, something that's a definitive set, whether it's a subset or not, definitive set of your client base. So, any other questions? This is all good stuff, and we appreciate everybody making their time available. So, last call for questions. Okay, a couple of laundry things. Next Connected Agent User Group will be November 13th, a Wednesday as always. And I know we finessed the December one around, Aaron. Where did we end up with on that?
I don't know off the top of my head. So all
right, well, we'll double check, and we'll have that information for you next time. But again, the next Connected Agent User Group for November will be November 13th. That'll be at 9 o'clock Pacific time. So, okay, if we don't have any other questions, we're going to go ahead and shut things down. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time, and as always, call us if you have questions.
Thank you all.
All right, bye now.
Thanks, Aaron, for setting me up. This is Tom.